Dear Dhamma friends, we have come to the last question and answer session in Kalalgoda English Medium Retreat. So we have a few questions. So we'll begin with the written questions.
Bhante, we have 8 questions,
Yes.
Mix of meditation and Dhamma.
Yeah.
The 8th question, that lady had explained her experiences, but she had said she would like to verbally explain it to you. So I have kept it as the last one.
Right.
Okay. Venerable Bhante, I am a beginner for meditation. Venerable Bhante, I am a beginner for meditation. Through this program and through your guidance, I have started to practice Anapanasati. I feel very lively and fresh even after meditation, while at home or in workplace where I feel mentally tired at the end of the day. Kindly advise me if I am practicing Anapanasati as a beginner at home, whether I should practice in morning hours before going to work or in the evening hours in order to obtain maximum benefits. Your kind guidance appreciated. May you attain Nibbana.
So I request to do both. So, so in the morning and as well as in the evening. So before going to work, you do meditate to refresh yourself. And after coming back home, you meditate just to remove the garbage available in the head. So I think that is the best way of doing it. Yes. Yeah.
Most Venerable Bhante, you advise me to do everything while observing the thoughts. When doing walking meditation, I thought to observe thoughts and started walking. But my mind automatically goes to the movement of the legs and the mind is going along with the movement of the legs. I thought it as Nama Rupa Paricheda Jnana and continued. But less thoughts were there at that time. I would like to know whether this is correct. Blessings you to attain Nibbana in this life itself.
Yeah. Better actually, if you feel that watching the mind is comfortable and mind likes to do that effortlessly, then that is much better. But if the mind is still like to watch the ongoing movements and the processes available in the body, and mind happily doing that, that's also no problem. Actually, there is all these anupassana, kaya anupassana, vedana anupassana, chitta anupassana, dhamma anupassana, all are equally powerful. So we can't say that you definitely have to do chitta anupassana and you have to, kaya anupassana and vedana anupassana are sort of preliminary, and then the chitta anupassana, dhamma anupassana is the advance or something like that. Actually, it happens like that when it is happening naturally. Say, for example, you are doing, definitely anyway we have to start with kaya anupassana. That is very much easier because the bodily movements are there, and now you are watching the bodily movements through the mind, and that is much more easier to establish mindfulness, to develop mindfulness. And later, if it is naturally growing and if the mind itself likes to watch the mind, then you can slowly move into that direction. Actually, even in that session, before you start immediately looking at the mind, better to do some amount of kaya anupassana, say being with the breath or being with the rising and falling for a while. If mind is scattered, say if you are with a busy schedule and say you came home and mind is fairly scattered with lot of resentment and all these things, then while going to, say, don't go to sitting, rather you go to the walking session, walking path, and there also you can, rather than start watching mind, better to be with the steps, better to observe the sensations of the body as you touch as your each and every step moves. So that will establish mindfulness, that will calm yourself down, and later slowly, once you are confident that now the mindfulness has improved and now I am in the present moment, then you can slowly start watching the mind. So immediately watching the mind may not helpful sometimes. So whenever you feel that you have fairly drifted from the present moment and you are thinking and proliferating and all these things are happening, so immediately watching the mind sometimes might not helpful because you are already drifted, already less mindfulness. So better to start as a beginner. So you go back to the steps and be each and every step and be aware of each and every movement, and then you are coming slowly back to the present moment, establishing mindfulness, and then you can watch the mind if you are used to watch the mind. So I think so you can't therefore watching the mind is in a way little advanced than watching the body and the feelings. So this question is related to watching the mind, and what's the exact problem it is facing?
She's saying she's thinking that it's Nama Rupa Paricheda Jnana, whether that is correct.
Yeah, so basically when you are watching any kind of elements, say bodily movements, say bodily sensations, say various element characteristics, say roughness, stiffness, coldness, hot, say whatever the kind of vibration, all these things are characteristics of the elements. So when you are observing these element characteristics, so element characteristics belongs to the elements, the rupa, and knowing part belongs to the nama or to the mental side. So there you do some kind of a distinguishment, some kind of a delimiting of the materiality and the mentality. So that is how you can understand, okay, now there is a kind of a knowing part as well as the known part. So that way we can distinguish these two, we can come up with kind of a separation. Because typically we are not doing like that. Typically what happens is we simply completely trapped in the experience. But now you are not trapped in the experience, rather you observe certain material characteristics through the mind, and now there's a separation. Rather than being involved in this, or rather than being completely caught up in the process. Say for example, you are walking, and while walking, typically we are not with the walking, rather we are daydreaming or thinking about the past and memories and all these things. But now say you are in the present moment, walking. Then going beyond that, now you are walking and at the same time you are watching various element characteristics. Now you know very elementary level the element characteristics, and they are the sort of the basics of all the physical world. So physical world, as per Buddha's teaching, entirely consists of 4 types of elements: earth element, water element, air element and fire element. And so we are now observing them, the very basic, very elementary level characteristics. So once we are observing them, so that elementary level characteristics, all those elements belong to the rupa khandha, rupa aggregate, the material aggregate, and the knowing part belongs to the mental aggregate. So that way we can distinguish. Yeah.
Venerable Bhante, please clarify the following. Thank you. The three types of sankhara are Mano Sankhara, Vachi Sankhara and Kai Sankhara. There are 2 basic levels as gross, subtle. Number 1, Mano Sankhara, subtle, Chitta Sankhara, feelings and perceptions. You add thoughts and visual images and take it to a more gross level. So that, she says again, the gross, manifestation of anger, lust, etc. and thought proliferation. I am not sure if this is right.
Yeah.
Shall I go on? No, she's elaborating Mano Sankhara, Vachi Sankhara, Kaya Sankhara.
Correct. Let's continue. Yeah.
Okay. Vachi Sankhara, subtle vitakka vichara, applying and sustaining. Gross, speaking in anger, being hurtful, gossiping, etc. I am not sure of this, again the gross.
Yeah. No, actually it doesn't necessary to be any kind of unwholesome side. Even the wholesome side belongs to sankhara. Say for example, vachi sankhara, the elementary level, the basic level is the vitakka and vichara, where you apply the mind and sustain the mind on a particular subject. So it may be wholesome or unwholesome. Based on that, now you are say talking. Say now I am talking. Say I am discussing. We are discussing some Dhamma. So there are also this also sankhara, vachi sankhara. So that's why say preaching Dhamma accumulates merit. So we are accumulating karma. So even the wholesome side and the unwholesome side both are available in sankhara. So that's why in sometimes sankhara are defined as punyabhi sankhara, apunyabhi sankhara and anenjabhi sankhara. Punyabhi sankhara are the ones wholesome deeds, wholesome formations, and apunyabhi sankhara are the unwholesome formations. Anenjabhi sankhara are related to the jhanas, where you have some firm established state of the mind, unwavering kind of status. So that is called anenjabhi sankhara. So that is another analysis of sankhara. So therefore, it is not that sankharas are all unwholesome. Even the wholesome side is there for the sankhara. So vachi sankhara therefore manifests either as wholesome or unwholesome. Both of them are rooted in vitakka and vichara. Yes, so definitely the unwholesome words and talking, whatever gossiping, rude working, lying and all these things have the vitakka where based on the unwholesome vitakka, unwholesome thinking. Say for example, you are thinking about sensual desire, maybe harming another person, resentment. Those are the roots, unwholesome roots, which is causing the wrong type of talking. But on the other hand, say you are talking about renunciation, say renunciation related thoughts, then the compassion, sympathy related thoughts, and helping another person. So those are another category.
Aspect.
Yeah, the nekkamma vitakka, avyapada vitakka, avihinsa vitakka. So those are the vitakka's wholesome side. So based on that, suppose now you are talking, then it is based on the wholesome side of the vachi sankhara. Yes.
Kaya sankhara, subtle inhalation and exhalation, gross actions. I am not sure of these actions.
Yeah. So whatever the action, so bodily action, say you are helping another person using the body, so and that is the wholesome deed. And on the other hand, say you are using the full strength and harming an animal, so that's the unwholesome side. But the root is with the inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale is the basic functionality of the body that is essential for the sustenance of the body. So therefore it is called the basic sankhara, or the elementary level of sankhara, that is asasa passasa. This the inhale and exhale. Yeah.
Hope this is clear.
Yeah.
Venerable Bhante, my experiences during Sakman and Paryanka during yesterday evening is detailed out below. I sat down with ease and focused on here I am now. Within a few minutes, the vibrations and sensations of the body are felt. After a while, my body kept falling down and swaying from side to side. Even though I kept straightening my body, it did not stay as I wanted. My whole body felt weak and I felt vomitish. Body was shivering and I felt a continuous electric vibe around my head. At this point, I felt as if I was no longer in control of my body. My body was behaving on its own accord. I kept getting thoughts which were coming in and going out. But these thoughts did not disturb the vibrations of the body. Since the pains within the body were hard to bear during Paryanka, I started Sakman. Even during Sakman, my body felt weak and it felt as if I was shivering. While walking, I kept losing balance as my body kept swaying. I tried to keep walking with great determination, yet the swaying of the body did not ease. I managed to walk for about 20 minutes with great difficulty. Venerable Bhante, I humbly request for guidance on how to proceed. Much merit to you, Bhante.
Yeah, I think you better continue with the sitting meditation rather than walking at this occasion, because you now go through the fairly higher level of element characteristics, and you better have to go through it. Rather than trying to ignore it, if you can simply bear it and simply observe how uncontrollable they are and how vulnerable they are. We have no much control at all. They are arising by their own and taking the whole body and vibrating and moving and everything, swaying and everything, and you are simply observing it with a very lot of patience. So you have to give up your sort of all these determinations and all actually hinder the process at this level, because now you are say you have already established fair amount of mindfulness. As a result, now you allow the body to behave as it like, and you are observing as a neutral observer. You have no preference, like you are not preferring, okay, let the body have some subtle changes and so that I can look at them closely, or let the body have some pleasant feelings so that I can look at them. You can't condition like that. The body behaves as you are experiencing now. The body behaves as it likes, not I like. So body is body based on the various conditions, based on the various causes. So therefore, so this is a kind of an understanding that we need to have. So even though we claim it as my body, it is not. So it is behaving on its own. So you have to bear it. So you have to very much observe it, how it is behaving, how these things are coming and going, how these things are unsatisfactory, and how can I call it as mine? Can I call it as it is me? So it is not possible. So more and more the body is telling its true nature, showing its true nature. So we have to understand that, rather than trying to control it maybe through the determination or whatever the way it's going against them. You are trying to block the process. So rather you surrender yourself. Just accept that the body is going through these things. I am just an earthworm. I am just watching it. So actually, just to share you some experience of several yogis, there are certain yogis as they meditate. So once they come to this kind of level, observing various bodily element characteristics, sometimes they sway in a very, say, in a large circle like. So in a very larger way, even the others can see that. And sometimes they even, now say they start like this while keeping the head like this, and their head falling down to the ground very much, and they stay like that. And this is going through. They simply allow it and simply go through, and after a while they may settle, but it happens. So if sometimes people misinterpret things like this, telling that these are some spirit coming and overpowering and all these things, those are utter nonsense. So these are the simply manifestations of the elements. So if you simply surrender yourself and simply observe, the body is behaving like this. Different movements are there, so I am watching them. But if you feel it's extremely unbearable, then don't put it to the movement side. Rather, from the very beginning, try to pay your attention to the stiffness side. Say while you are sitting, your buttocks are touching the cushion. Say there the stiffness is available, kind of a pressure is available. And then say for example, while you are sitting, your hands are touching each other. There's a kind of a hot feeling, the warmth is there. So you can pay attention to that. Maybe like that you have to look at in a different side rather than looking at this movement. So if you are looking at the movement, it can grow, and then you can get into this kind of situation. But this is not common to everyone, but to some yogis. And if you can't bear it, on the other hand, you can try locating your attention at the buttocks where the pressure is felt, and again your upper half of the body feels heavy, or the lower half of the body feels heavy because of the upper, it is holding the upper half, so you feel the heaviness, the weight of the body. So these are other sides that you can check whether if you can feel them, then you are into a different element characteristics. You are in the Patavi Dhatu, the element, the earth element. You can try shifting your attention. Or else you can simply bear this and go through it. Yes.
Theruvan Saranai, Venerable Bhante, can you please explain what is Upachara Samadhi, which you mentioned yesterday? Is it same as the Samadhi you get when you are doing rising and falling of the abdomen meditation? Thank you. Theruvan Saranai.
Yeah, yes and no, both are valid. Basically, now if you come up with say Buddhanusati, I'll take a different direction. Buddhanusati, say you are contemplating various qualities of the Buddha, and suppose your mind is now calming down, you feel peaceful, and suppose now you are reducing 9 qualities to 7, then to 6, then to 5, then to 1, and now you are being with just one quality, for example. Now you are entirely with just one quality of the Buddha, contemplating that, and mind is now fairly concentrated. So there also, this is also excess concentration, Upachara Samadhi. That is the maximum you can go with this kind of Anusati Bhavana. So there also you are utterly with this object, utterly with this quality. So and you are fully with it. On the other hand, say for example, rising and falling. So you are observing rising and falling, rising and falling. Now it becomes subtler and subtler. And now you may reach to a point where you can't distinguish rising and falling. Now something is there. Some kind of a feeling is there, you can't distinguish. And simply you are there, effortless. You don't need to, purposefully keep yourself. Rather, the mind itself is watching the process. So now you are in Upachara Samadhi, you access concentration, where the concentration has catch up by itself. It has its own momentum, and now it is going on without your intervention. Now mind is watching, being in the process, simply being with the process. So there the concentration has built up. So on the other hand, say if you are in Anapanasati, so you are watching inhale and exhale, and now similarly the inhale and exhale become subtler and subtler, and you can't distinguish whether it is in-breath and out-breath. It is, you are coming to a very calm state. That is the fourth stage that we have discussed in Kayanupassana section. Pasambhayang Kaya Sankarang Asasissamiti Sikkati, that level. So you are reaching very much such tranquility. So this is also access concentration. But on the other hand, Anapanasati you can go further. Say in the Samatha side, for certain yogis, as you are maintaining this access concentration, where your mind is very calm and you are being very quiet and you are maintaining that concentration, at that time there's a possibility that counterpart sign can appear. There's a sign, kind of a light can appear. So it also can happen at this stage. So then the light is also there, it is very stable and fairly, say, bright, and you are simply watching this bright light, and still now you are in the access concentration level. So you have a fairly broad access concentration area. So then you get into the absorptions, that is called the Appana, the Arpana stage. So before that you are in the access concentration level. So access concentration level is very much the Upachara Samadhi, and it is the same as neighborhood concentration. Yeah.
Bhante, I could not meditate for quite some time, though I have all the requisites, perfect environment at home, etc. However, I try to be mindful most of the time. Sitting meditation, guided, today from 8 to 9. My mind was going all over, thoughts coming. For about half an hour, could not concentrate. Thereafter, slowly settled down after 10 minutes like. Thereafter, it was peaceful and I could see my breath. However, the session was over, but I could have continued. However, I think this is a sign of improvement. Further, when I could not settle my mind, I thought I will get up and do walking meditation. Is it okay to go out during sitting meditation? Since I thought it is not correct, I did not do it. Much merit to you.
So actually, if you are used to do 1 hour sitting, and if you like to prepare your posture and to endure a little bit, so you better stay 1 hour, because that also has many benefits. Say for example, you are maintaining your posture, and suppose you finish very much after 45 minutes. 45 minutes is say at that time the mind starts to wander and all these things. But if you stay another 15 minutes in the same posture, the one benefit is that your body understood that this fellow is very stubborn and he wants to continue. So it will next time, so then the session will be longer, maybe 50 minutes, because the body is giving enough support. Body is getting seasoned for the posture. But if you immediately get up, then body is not getting that capacity, building that capacity. But on the other hand, if you immediately get up after 45 minutes, then you are disturbing the others. So that is also there. So therefore, when you are in a group sitting, it is much better to spend the complete period rather than getting up in between. So, but if you are meditating alone, then it's your own decision. So you can actually forget about, then actually it's up to you now. Now if you think that I need to further train the posture, which will be helpful in the long run, so you can continue after a while. Even the session is over, which you feel that session seems over, you can still maintain the posture for a while and then strengthen yourself and then get up. And on the other hand, I just like to mention another point. So just after the meditation, don't immediately get up, because you stay a couple of minutes till you settle down, till you come back to the... Now sometimes the meditation takes you to some deeper concentrations. So immediately if you get up, so you can't balance yourself. So you need to allow the mind to come back and reduce the concentration and coming back to the typical level of concentration, and then you can get up. So these are certain practical points that you have to consider. Yeah.
Most Venerable Bhante, I am a regular practitioner of Anapanasati meditation, in-breath and out-breath method. For over 5 years, on most occasions, my mind become very tranquil without any thoughts or sensations for nearly 1 to 1.5 hours. After that, I feel a dull sensation in my mind. I know it is not sleep. Therefore, I feel that something is not quite right. I have also discussed this problem with meditating monks who say that it could be a bhavanga chitta state. 1. Please explain this bhavanga chitta.
I didn't tell that. Yeah.
After listening to your discourse yesterday and Q&A session, I tried the abdominal meditation method for the first time and felt very comfortable. Bhante, could this be a meditation solution to my problem? The abdominal method was a bit difficult at the start, but I felt comfortable and very much at ease. Please give me a solution. With much merit to you.
May I know whose question is this? Yes. So actually it depends on where were you in Anapanasati, because in Anapanasati, suppose you have, if you are practicing for 4 or 5 years, and if you are a continuous practitioner, and then there's a possibility that your mind might have come to the anisita state where you are not associating anything. Say the mind is say for example, you are observing the body and maybe the feelings and all these things. And are you doing something like that, observing various feelings arising? Probably you can come. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Bhante, the feelings, what were you referring to, like sensations?
Yes. So bodily sensations and all these things, after coming out of, are you continuously doing Anapanasati
No, I start with the 4 protective meditations.
Right.
Then after about half an hour,
Right.
then I start
Anapanasati.
Anapana, which is quite comfortable.
Right.
And I go in there and after some time, it's a whole period is about, let's say, 1.5 hours with the
Right.
protective meditations. I find that I'm not there, like, you know what I mean, I can continue like this.
Right.
So I kind of, then I come out of it, like.
Mhm.
So also some monks told, not you monk, the Bhavanga was not you, but some other,
Yeah.
because I had a Kamatan Acharya
Yes,
and he's
yes,
passed
okay.
away, so,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'm a bit now without any
yeah.
guidance. So anyway, they said that make an adhisthana before
Uh-huh.
I get into meditation, which I started doing,
Mhm.
but sometimes I forget
Mhm.
to do
So
the
anyway,
Yeah.
now what is the practice you are doing currently?
the same thing.
Same
the
thing.
Same thing, but yesterday I started the abdominal method.
Yes.
And then I found that I'm very much there, grounded.
right.
Because this is very subtle.
Yes.
After some time, I sort of, slowly recede into nothingness. Sort of.
Right. Right.
And I know it's not, I think one other lady also had the similar
Yes.
problem yesterday.
Yes.
And I started thinking about it.
Correct.
After that, what you told
Yes.
us. So I felt now, what I want to know is, Bhante, can I move on to abdominal?
Definitely, it is possible.
Yes.
Because if one is used to do Anapanasati, one can easily get it switched to abdominal
Yes,
method.
yes.
But on the other hand, it is not a must.
No, it's
You
not
can
a must.
yeah, I mean, you can continue in Anapanasati.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you are a little doubtful about what's happening, then as you have done, so you can shift to abdominal method and see what is the result.
Yes,
So
yes.
basically, if you are in a proper place, say for example in Anapanasati also, say as I explained yesterday, say you are experiencing various subtle differences of the breath, and then it tranquilizes, and then say for example certain pleasurable feelings are appearing and blissful feelings are happening, sort of floating feelings are happening, and you can observe them as a second person, and then they also disappear, and then you can even watch the mind and even the thoughts disappear, and then you come into this kind of a state where there are nothing. So where there are nothing, there is no any bodily sensations to hold on, there are no any feelings to hold on, and there are no any thoughts to hold on, and mind has its own sort of independence. That is not a bad thing. That is an achievement in the Vipassana point of view, and you have to maintain that. So, but at the beginning it appears like dull.
Yes.
So definitely.
Yes,
It
because there
appears
is-
like dull
Yes.
because there is nothing. It's very utterly boring. Like there is no any kind of
No piti sukha, nothing.
exactly. It's fairly equanimous.
Yes, that's right.
But as you are, developing that slowly, you are getting some kind of a different type of happiness. It's a kind of based on the contentment. Contentment. Because say for example, whenever we want something from outside, that indicates we are not internally happy.
Happy inside.
If we are internally completely satisfied, we don't need anything from outside. So, but if you are completely happy, I don't need anything from outside. I am completely happy. So this is the kind of a happiness that we have to develop. So this leads to that kind of a happiness. Slowly, one and more you are maintaining this kind of state, and you are further watching the mind, and the defilements are reduced. So mind finds its own kind of a solace, own kind of a refuge, own kind of a independence. So now it can sustain itself. So it doesn't need to associate the body, doesn't need to associate any feeling, doesn't need to associate any mental thoughts. It has its own freedom. So this is something encouraged. So if you have reached that stage, you don't need to go back to rising and falling. But on the other hand,
Yes.
if you have properly established here in this what
Not
I have
yet,
explained,
yes.
if I have now this state is typically called anisita. We are unassociated.
Unassociated.
You know, in Satipatthana Sutta, for each and every method, Buddha is telling at the end, anisitocha viharati, nachakinchi loke upaditi. So anisitocha viharati.
This is the unsettled side.
Yeah. So this is the unassociated state that we need to sort of cultivate.
Yes.
So, but this unassociated state is reachable from many methods. Every method Buddha is explaining. So say in Kayanupassana, say you have 14 types of method explained. Each and every method lead into this place. Vedananupassana lead into this place. Chittanupassana lead into this place. So what I want to clarify is, now while you are doing, say, rising and falling, you see whether mind is reaching the same place. Then you are safe.
Yes, yes.
You are simply safe.
Yes,
so you
yes.
continue with rising and falling and simply observe what is going on, and they are also rising and passing away. Subtle changes are there, different element characteristics are there. Now you shift yourself entirely to the vipassana side, not in the samatha. Because in anapanasati, sometimes you get the mixture. Say sometimes you are in the samatha side and sometimes in the vipassana side. So you have to carefully handle it. So when you are in the vipassana side, no point of being too much in the samatha side, because you have to build up a fair amount of wisdom. But in rising and falling, it is taking you entirely in the vipassana path, not much in the samatha side. So therefore, it's a good decision. So you now continue with rising and falling, see what is going on, and observe these different element characteristics. And while you are watching this, and see how the mind is behaving. If it is carefully watching all these things, and he understands that arising and passing away and all these things, and then mind itself will let go this process, and it will come to the same anisita state. Then no problem.
Yes.
Yeah,
May I ask one small question? Today when I was doing it, the arising and falling, automatically I found that I was going to breath.
Anapanasati,
I suppose that should be all right. No?
All right. Yes.
No danger.
Then slowly come back to rising and falling.
I don't want to control, but automatically it went, and then slowly I went back to the rising and falling.
Yes. The only thing is, even in anapanasati, now look at it in a different angle. Say, anapanasati, asasa, the inhale, you have some feeling. It is also arising and then disappearing.
Passing, yes.
Then say breathing out, exhale, that's also kind of a feeling. It is also arising and passing away. Now you are changing your way of looking at things in a different angle, into the vipassana side. So that also helps. That one.
Venerable Bhante, when I experienced the state of no mind and body several times, Bhante asked me to bahuli karanaya karanna. As I have practiced the same during last 2 months, I would like to explain my experiences verbally.
Right.
I think Bhante can remember, he asked me to. Now I think more than 2-3 months I was experiencing.
Right.
I told I was throwing, my body was throwing away. Now body is not throwing, but only the head is falling down. But today, as I have a neck pain, I did not get that much. But yesterday I was in that stage for so long time. This is my 7th day for the bhavana. I went even vipassana, but yesterday I did.
Right.
I was in that stage for several times.
How long
That's
you were there?
the thing, Bhante. I go very fast, but don't stay maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's more than enough. No problem. Because the thing is, we need to little balance there. So if you are going to this sort of unassociated state, if you stay there longer, then sometimes the concentration builds up. That is also necessary. But if it is too much, then no thoughts are coming at all. So that is also not much beneficial in the vipassana point of view. So are you, where as per your understanding, what is the stage you are in?
The thoughts also coming. Also sometimes there are some, even when I'm going to sleep, because I concentrate in the nostrils, it's like I go to a stage like, not thoughts, there are some like, not dreaming, some like
Images are coming.
Images, I don't care.
Right.
It's sometimes I stay in, I think I stay in that stage and go to sleep. Like that, that's a tight. Because I thought to ask that question, maybe I will go 2-3 months for overseas, then I will miss your teaching. And also, why I thought yesterday when Bhante was preaching that Bana, Anapana, then same experience I had when I was in overseas, that pleasure, but I did not think about Anita. I was so happy and telling the others, this one, that one, why don't you do meditation, this pleasure. I was thinking yesterday, so foolish, I did not get enough teaching. And that's what I just thought, maybe not going overseas, maybe going better to talk, to tell my experience and get more advanced, for then I can practice there.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, are you going to this state by observing feelings or observing the mind, or how?
Observing. I start with the breath.
Right.
And slowly, now, Bhante, not like before,
right.
I sit to meditate with not any intention. There are no intention on me.
Right.
I like to meditate,
right.
But those days I want to take, but there are so many adhisthana, and there are now no any adhisthana, just sit.
Right.
Just if my leg, I was fallen, leg
right.
pain, I just sit, get up and just go for a walk for a while, again sit, then again I go to stage.
That's it.
But
right.
thoughts also coming.
Right. Okay. So while walking, can you get this state?
No, while walking, I just walk like I was watching, just someone is walking.
Right. Right.
Sometimes if there is a big stone come and hit,
yeah.
it's I feel, otherwise just but walking also sometimes thoughts comes.
Yeah, okay. So no problem. So you can start watching more and more about the mind. The thoughts are coming and they are going also. They are coming and then going, coming and then going. Suppose there is no another thought coming now. There's a little gap in between. Now you simply recognize that gap. So now you are not observing the body. You are not being in the feelings. No perceptions as a big thing. So, but there are certain thoughts are coming and going, and in between there's a little gap in between different thoughts, and you recognize these gaps, kind of a space in between. So now you are increasing this, say, the clarity of the mind.
Okay.
So these thoughts in between, now you have certain gaps. Typically, when someone is not meditating, there is no much gap. So it's very much like continuous. Different thoughts are very tightly coupled. That now, as you meditate, as you recognize these things are coming and going, so this starts to enhance or to disengage, disassemble. Like now, you see even one thought arising and passing, another one thought arising and passing, another one thought arising and passing, another one thought arising and passing away. So teach the mind now. Thought is nothing but arising and passing away.
Yeah, day-to-day practice, day-to-day work, but not all the thoughts. When there are some, I mean, mostly come this thoughts comes, I can understand.
Right.
Then I don't stay there and go.
Right.
When I'm working also, there are some, because we stay at home and we have to plan things and everything.
Right.
Those thoughts comes.
Right.
But mostly wiping, just looking, wiping, sweeping.
That's right. So whatever the simple activities, like you say the sweeping and say maybe walking, and on those typical activities where your brain is not much involved, where you don't need to think a lot, on such activities try to maintain the mind in this state.
Yeah, it goes to that stage.
That state, definitely.
But when I'm hurry, if I go time to go, then just do and
yes. So as much as possible, familiarize this state to the mind. So this is fairly resting place, fairly friction-free state, undefiled state, and a fairly tension-free state. So you have to, as much as possible, you have to associate this place now. Allow the mind to associate this place, because mind is having a fair amount of freedom there. So you have to encourage the mind to be there. So that's why you have to familiarize this.
Even a desha thought comes,
then simply let it go and come back here. So
come back here means come back to the work.
Work in the sense, what work?
Now, if I'm at work, if the desha thought comes, then I just get to know there is a desha thought.
Let me explain. Now, say for example, you are sweeping.
Yeah.
So you let the body to sweep, and you keep the mind empty.
Yes, that's
understood.
The idea.
Okay. Yeah. So now suppose 5 minutes you are keeping the mind empty and sweeping also is going on, mind is relaxed.
Yeah.
Suppose now you get the angry thought.
Yeah.
then you understand that. Okay, because you were in a fairly free state, unassociated state, and an equanimous state. Now this anger is gross. Like we discussed yesterday, anger is gross because you feel some tension because of this anger. Now you recognize that this is not a comfortable place to stay. So you leave it aside and come back here. And again you resting at this same place. So more and more we have to associate this place. Yeah,
I'm doing now, Bhante, as I'm always watching my mind also.
Good.
Not only the meditating at home.
Definitely, that has to be the way. So basically, when we are starting, we simply have 1 hour sitting, maybe 1 hour walking, and rest of the time we don't know where we are. But more and more we meditate, more and more one matures. So you have to look at yourself and from the very moment that you wake up until you go to sleep, you have to watch the mind. Definitely. Yes.
Okay, Bhante.
Thero and Sanai. Thero and Sanai. So those are the questions we have. So if you have any other question, we can continue.
Is anyone having any questions?
There's one coming.
Bhante, like yesterday how you advised, I was doing Sakman, which is where I'm more aware of the thoughts coming and the feelings. So when I walk, most of the time I start off with left and right, the noting, and then I start feeling the sensations also. But almost like in about 5 minutes or so I start getting thoughts, and these are like so much of thoughts, they're even overlapping sometimes.
Thoughts.
Lots of thoughts are coming in. But the thing is, I'm able to see them, like even though so many thoughts are coming, I'm able to see them, like they're not even, I can't even distinguish them as anger or happiness or anything. They're just mundane, unnecessary
thoughts.
Like any thoughts that just keep
right.
coming. So is it right for me to keep knowing that and walking, or should I force myself to come back to the left and right and then walk?
If they are continuously coming like that, you better pay attention to the sensations, because being with the sensations and really helps you to calm this thinking down, because it is necessary to have a fair amount of less frequency of thoughts in order to meditate, in order to see them clearly. But if they are continuously coming, as you said, overlapping thoughts and so many things, it's very much like a scattered mind. So then better be with the sensations of the foot. Then more and more you are there, so the mind starts to quiet down, calm down, and this frequency start to reduce. Then you can again, if you like, you can simply watch the mind.
So Bhante, like yesterday where I was explaining, where I go to a place like a bunker where I'm kind of cut off from. So that also happens while I'm walking also.
Is it happening?
It happens while I'm walking. Now even today during Dana also, when I'm focusing on the eating and the mixing, again I keep going to that place where I'm cut off from everything else.
So are you, at that time cutting off means
like
you
I
can't hear anything?
I can't hear anything, I can't see anything, I'm just completely on that. And like when I finish that, I come out, I realize, okay, I'm in this setup right now.
Right. So at that time, are you eating?
Yes, I'm still eating. I feel all of that, but I'm not associated with the surroundings.
Maybe, I don't know. That's why I need to little verify this place, because as we discussed just now, so if you have done fair amount of say, I can't say that also. Say you need to verify and see. Say now in walking, are you paying attention to various sensations and before you get into this state?
Yes.
Okay. So at that time, is the mind quiet?
Yes.
Okay. At that point, mind is quiet and you are watching the various sensations, and then immediately you get into this place. Okay.
No. Then I start having these thoughts. And then I start watching the thoughts, as in watching as in I understand, okay, this is coming, that is coming. I see all of them, and then as soon as they come, it goes and something else comes. Right. None of them are related. They just
so after that, you get into this.
Yeah. Then eventually, like after a while only I realize I've gotten into that while watching the thoughts. It has happened.
Right. maybe then it's all right. So that you yourself have to verify. So because there are certain concentrations which are not useful. Say where you have no mindfulness at all at that concentration. So it's very much like, as we discussed, it's like in a tunnel or like in a bunker. You don't have much kind of sense what is going on. But on the other hand, even in the proper concentration also, sometimes you can't immediately get the complete correct balance at the beginning. So you sometimes go with some higher concentration, and if the concentration is too powerful, even the proper concentration that we have to develop, whatever the proper state that we have to develop, appears like in a bunker.
Okay.
So therefore it's a bit tricky at the beginning. So anyway, then you as much as possible watch these things coming and going. As much as possible develop mindfulness. Then slowly while you are being in this state, you start to be awake while being there. Now the wakefulness or the mindfulness is little lacking there.
So Bhante, when I'm doing pariyanka, sometimes I feel like I'm sleeping, but I'm aware of that.
Exactly.
I'm awake to sleeping also.
Yes, that's
so
right.
that is there in pariyanka.
Yeah, that is what you are very much catching up now.
Okay.
Because previously you are in a state, it's very much like unconscious.
Yeah.
But now you are aware that you are in a kind of a sleep. It is not a sleep,
Yes.
but you have some wakefulness as well.
Yes.
So this is that's then you can continue. Nothing to worry.
So the same thing happens on a daily basis also.
Definitely.
Like I keep watching the thoughts and I'm again cut off from
Again,
everywhere.
cut off, and you are here.
Yeah, then I realize, okay, like when I come back, I realize, okay, I've been cut off and I'm back to being the surrounding, whatever
Right.
I mean. But that always happens when I'm watching the thoughts though.
Yes. So the thing is this. Now when you are watching the body, then slowly it disappears. Okay, your body is, you are not much aware of the body now. Then suppose you are watching the feelings, they also disappear. And that is also not your object of understanding, object of the cognition. And then you start to watch the mind, then there are thoughts are coming, and then they also disappear. Then where to hold? Nothing is there to hold now. Body also disappeared, and the feelings are disappeared, and now you are watching the thoughts, and that's also disappeared. Now mind come into this unassociated state. Nothing to worry. That's why, I mean, that is a state that we need to develop. But at the beginning, when you are going through fair amount of concentration, it appears like dull. Sometimes, as the other person explained, it appears like dull. And sometimes it appears like a sort of kind of a utterly boring state, because there is no any kind of happiness, no pleasure or anything or any bliss or nothing. It's utterly boring state. But as much as possible, you associate this place slowly. You check whether you can maintain this kind of state even while walking, not going through too much of a concentration, but immediately like. Now, if your mind is used to this state, can you immediately plunge into that?
Okay.
Something like that. You can check that. Okay. Then you might not stay there longer.
Okay.
Because now you are going with a shallow concentration. Yeah. Because if you build up concentration, say you are going through anapanasati or walking session, and you are building up mindfulness and building up concentration, and then you watch the mind, and after mind gives up these thoughts, immediately you are there with a higher concentration. But check whether you can immediately go there. Now you can stay there for 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, then thoughts start to coming. Then no problem. Then very much like slowly, this is a place that you have to associate. This is a place that you have to familiar with.
Bhante, when I'm like in a bunker state, when I'm walking, there are thoughts, but when I'm that cut off state, I'm not even identifying them. It's just like a jumble there, but it's there.
Yes.
But it's not that it's completely gone and mind is free. It's also not. It's just something is there.
Sorry, can you explain
something
again?
Is there. Like earlier when I start watching the thoughts, I understand, okay, this is happening. I'm hearing a sound, something is coming, sort of.
Yes,
but after a while, something is there, but I'm not.
But you are not. The mind is not interested.
Differentiating or anything.
Exactly.
It's just something is there. Though it's not free. Also, it's not clear. Also, something is there.
No. I think you are in the correct path. Nothing to worry. So basically, what you are trying to explain is the mind has its own freedom. It does not mean thoughts are not available. Thoughts are available, but it can't penetrate to inside now. You are like in a balloon-like thing. So thoughts cannot penetrate. The feelings cannot penetrate. And the sensations cannot penetrate. You are in a kind of a safe area like. So if this is what happening, no problem. You continue this, continue being in this, then these thoughts slowly start to dilute. So then they disappear. Then the clarity of mind further increase. So if you recognize this is a kind of a clean area. You have nothing there. But still it's not stable like. Still not stable, your mind can't handle it. But slowly more you associate it, these thoughts disappear, they go far and far, the other objects also it's irrelevant, so you don't need to look at them, and you are here. The mind has its own independence. So then no problem. Yeah. Very difficult to understand whether when we are going through Anapanasati or when we are going to Samatha, also there are certain concentration states, those appears like this. But when someone is doing, say, fair amount of observation of various phenomena, how they behave, again you come to this, and this has some similarity with that. Yeah. Okay, if you have no other questions, then we can wind up the session and wind up the retreat. So, anything? Yeah. Okay. So there's a small sharing of merits. My beloved parents, Somapala Mahanama and Pushpa Rohini, and all friends and relations, and again living parents of Muru Veerasinghe, wishing them health and long life. And these are the good wishes that the devotee who offered today's dana. So similarly, we all are here for 3 days now, and accumulated a lot of merit by observing higher sila and as well as practicing meditation, and again participating to Dhamma discussions and listen to Dhamma sermons. So all these merits what we have accumulated, let's share with all the past relatives, again with all the celestial beings and whoever in need of merits. Let these merits help us also to be free from suffering. While keeping these good wishes in our mind, let's recite the traditional verses. Ittavataca amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavataca amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavataca amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanang. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummattha punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mamparang. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Whoever in the 8 precepts may recite Namo Tassa to get into Ajiva Attamaka Sila.